So today I'm going to make an inventory system, and you hit the tab button, you'll have this bag here. And when you run over stuff, you pick it up, it puts it in the bag. So there's some metal. I'm going to pick up some cloth here. If you don't want it anymore, you can throw it. So you can just click on it, boom, throws it, and then that's empty. If you want to pick it back up, just run back over it. So that's pretty cool. Let's go ahead and get a fresh world, and you can start building along. All right, so I have my fresh world. I'm going to start with the UI, the bag itself. So go over to Starter GUI, hit the plus sign, and then Screen GUI. I call it Screen GUI. I like the name GUI. And then hit the plus sign again, Frame. Let's move our frame into place. And frame, so I change the size. There's my position, here's my size. It's in pixels. Let's go and make it about like that. That looks good. What is this? About 110. And we'll make this like 220. There, that's probably bigger than I need. In my frame, let me call that bag. Let's put a component in here that makes nice square or nice evenly distributed slots. So I'm going to hit that plus sign, hit UI grid layout. That's going to put our components in a nice grid. So on the grid layout, go ahead, get that. I'm going to say horizontal alignment. I'm going to center everything. And then vertical alignment, I'm also going to center it. There we go. Up here, cell size. I want to make that relative to the parent, but you can do what you want with it. You have to play around with it. For X, I think I'll make it 0.4 on the X, 40% of the width of the frame, 0 pixels. All right. Then for the Y, let's try 0.2 and 0. We'll see what that looks like. Let's add a text button. So go here, plus text button. Oh, that's nice. It's like a little square. All right, let's call the button 1. So I'm going to actually number my buttons. That way I can find the lowest button that is empty. All righty, that looks good. I like that. Let's add a label to the button for our quantity. So we'll just do a text label. So text label, I'll call this LBL. It's really big because the UI grid layout doesn't affect the sub components on the buttons themselves. Let's go to anchor point on that, and I will anchor this at 1 and 1, and then position it down on the lower right. So I'll call this 1 0 1 0. It's too big. Let's go to size. And for the size on the X, I'm going to make this 0.4 and 0. So offset 0, 0.4 is the scale. 0.3 for scale and 0 for offset on the Y. Whoops, did I mess up? I did mess up. I put it in scale. 0.3 and 0. There we go. So label, it's not going to say label, it's going to have a number, right? So you can play around with these sizes. And you might want to have images in here too. But this is a good way to start it out. So I'm going to Control D my text button. You can see how it's being distributed nice and evenly. I like that. You can change your colors if you want. I don't think I'm going to. Now I need to change the names of my buttons to the numbers. I'm using these numbers to find out what the lowest number that is empty for my bags when I go to fill them. There we go, 7 and 8. Alrighty. Okay, that's good. Let's go ahead. Now we're going to pick things up server side. We're going to store all our data server side in case we want a data store so we can save things off in between games. Let's go to, but we have this UI, and that's a client. So we need, in replicated storage, we need remote events to talk to them. We need 2 remote events so that clients and servers can talk to each other. We need one for the pickup RE, and we need one for the drop. We'll say drop RE. Cool. Now the server script service, let's add a module script so I can call it from another script. I'm going to call this pickup mgr for pickup manager. I'm going to change this module to mmanager or pmanager for pickup manager. The return has to be the same as the declared variable. And in here, let's make a table called pickup data. It's going to have all of, these are curly brackets by the way, it's going to have all of the items that each player has picked up. All right, it'll say local rs, we need replicated storage, game, get service, replicated storage. We need our remote event for pickup, so pickup re, replicated storage, wait for child. That pickup name must match what's right here, or you're going to get an infinite yield. Cool. Do one for drop re, replicated storage, wait for child, drop re. Make sure they're spelled the same. Good. Now let's do a function that we can call from another script. And when we touch the item, I want to fire this. So don't make it local, just say function pmanager because we're going to call it. So we need this name to be in front of that. I'm just going to call this pickup. Other part is going to be whatever touches our item. It's going to be like a foot or something, right? So we have the other part, which is hopefully the character that's touching it, and then the item like the cloth or the metal or the wood. So local hum. So we're going to check to see if the other part has a humanoid. So if it's a foot, the parent is going to be the character. We'll do find first child. That's a humanoid. All right, so check to see if the humanoid exists. If it does, let's get the character. So if the humanoid exists, the other part, parent, will be the character. We might even be able to get a player, right? So player, game, players, get player from character. Perfect, we have a character. But zombies also have characters and humanoids, so let's check to see if it actually is a player. If it's not, if it was a zombie, this would be nil. And then this if statement wouldn't fire. So now I'm going to update my pickup data. I'm going to say player and the item name. And this is going to be how many I have of each item, right? This is the item. And then the value of this whole thing will be the quantity. It'll be the number of them. So I'm going to take the old value and then add 1. All right, I'll put this on another line so you can see it easier. There you go. All right, now we got to let the client know, hey, we picked something up. There's nothing on the client side yet, but we can do that now. We'll say fire client, player. So whoever the player was, oh, this RE needs to be pickup RE. Pickup RE. So our pickup remote event is going to fire client to the player that we grabbed up there in line 12. We need the item, right? And then we need the number of that item. There. This is too big. I'm going to make this a little smaller. Hopefully you can still see it. There, that's better. And then I can put this on one line. I think that's neater. Yeah, it looks good. So we're not going to update our GUI. I had to make this in 2 videos because it kept messing up. The videos get long. The dog would bark. The phone would ring. So for this video, I'm just going to print out what we have. I'm going to say player equals player.name, and then the item equals item.name, and the quantity equals, put this on another line, this whole thing, copy, paste it, get that little parenthesis back, and that's the way we can check it. And then we're going to destroy the item once we picked it up. Item destroy. Make sure I don't spell it, the story. Cool. So when we enter the game, we need to initialize our table. Many ways of doing this, Or if you have a data store, this is where you would load the data store. So init player data player, move that up a little. So pickup data player equals cloth of 0, metal of 0, and wood of 0. Cool. All right. Now, when somebody enters a game, we're going to have this game players player added event connected to init player data. So this will be initialized, but how will this get called? Well, let's go to our world right here. Let's add some items. We'll add a piece of metal. Man, let's see. Red, corroded metal. Make it a little bigger. See, scale. There we go. There's our metal. And let's see, let's add a piece of fabric. Fabric will be similar. Just kind of move that a little bit so it's not too symmetrical or too, everything looks in the same direction. Let's scale it. And we'll go here, go here. I think I'll make my fabric really light, because then when you add the fabric material, so I made the material fabric, there, that looks pretty good. And wood, put some cylinder, we'll put a cylinder down here. Let's change that a little bit. There we go. And instead of plastic, make the material wood. Looks good. Let's name our fabric, because right now it's part. Fabric. No, let's call it cloth. I think we call it cloth in our pickup data. Or, yeah, our pickup. Yeah, we did. Pickup data. And we'll call this wood. I'm going to put a folder in the workspace. Call this materials. And just grab these 3. Whoops, nope. Control Z. Grab these 3 again. Add it to the folder. Good. Okay, on their cloth, let's add a small script for the touched event. Here, plus script, and we'll call it get it. Right, get it. You make that bigger. This is gonna be short. It's not gonna be very hard. First thing we want to do is we want to require our pickup manager. So I'm going to call this P manager, and I'll say require game server script service pickup manager. Now we can call, if you go to the pickup manager, we can call that. All right, so we got to get our item script.parent. And then we'll get the items touched event and connect it to this anonymous function that's going to have the other part, which would be like your foot or something like that. We'll do P manager, pickup, pass in the other part, and the item. All right. Go ahead and get your get it script right here in the Explorer. Control D, add it to metal. Control D, add it to wood. Now let's test. All right, so we hit play. And let's go ahead. I shouldn't have made it so far away. Oh, let's get our output window, because we're not going to see this update yet. Oh, I got to move that. That's not good. There we go. We got wood quantity 1, and we'll got metal quantity 1. We got fabric. Nice. Everything's working. So in the second video, I'm going to continue, and we're going to just update this so that it'll update our bag, and we'll be able to drop stuff, and it'll be really cool.